Welcome back, everyone, and today I have turned set 75234 into an AT-DP. So as we get into this, I just want to apologize for not having uploaded constantly. I've been quite busy, and it's sad to say YouTube was not my top priority. That being said, I'm back, and with a new cool mock. Alright, so let's get straight into the analysis of this alternate build. So first off, it has a couple nice play features. The head can move back and forth on the body, and then the turret can also swing around so it can shoot at multiple different angles. You can remove the top piece to get to the inside, and unfortunately it doesn't have space for 2 troops, as you can see, but it does have space for you to put one in the back end by just kind of sliding him in there and then sticking his legs into a little nook. And then you can just reattach the roof, and you're good. Now the main reason it can't fit too many figures is because this front part had to be filled up with a whole bunch of random plastic so that it acts kind of as a counterweight to the entire mock since it's extremely off balance. So that way this front end has more weight pushing it down right over the feet. I tried leaving it hollow and it was so much more prone to tipping backwards and just not being as stable as it is. And so I decided to just sacrifice that and then also make the back hollow so that there's not as much weight back there. Other than that, the head doesn't have a super bunch of unique features, but it does have some nice detailing like this, what's supposed to be a hatch, but unfortunately doesn't open. And then this nice little technique here to give it some character, as well as just a little bit of gray stripe going right there. And then for the face, it's somewhat hard to notice, but I have a little black piece there that's supposed to be the window. And so I think it looks really, really nice. It's just slightly hidden because this piece curves down over it. That being said, I'm pretty sure that's pretty close to what it actually looked like in universe, so. Okay, now let's move to the lower section. In order for you to really see it, I'm going to detach the head. Okay, so this is kind of what the bottom section looks like. This is the piece that the head attaches to rotate, and then I'm really happy with how this back greebling turned out. I didn't have a lot of parts for it, but I think it really looks mechanical and like something on the AT-DP or AT-ST. I'm not super happy with how the legs turned out in that kind of blackish color because it kind of goes against what the rest of the mock looks like. However, there was really no other alternative, and that was what I had left to work with, and I don't think it looks bad, I just don't think it looks great, so. For the feet, I initially thought they were the exact same as the AT-AP. However, they're actually different and they're more spiked looking instead of like rounded with the panels. And so I tried to replicate that by having the spikes just kind of come protruding out and then this back one with a little extra length to it so that it'll hold itself up well. If you'll notice when it's standing and with the head on, it typically likes to lean back onto these legs, leaving this front one kind of just sticking up off the table. That being said, even when the head is on, I really don't notice a problem with the stability of it. It still seems pretty stable overall. One last thing I'm really proud of is that these panels actually sit at an angle, as you see, they're not straight, and that's the use of these little ball joint mechanisms right here. Now, please be aware, if anything's going to break with this alt build as it's a little fragile, it's either going to be these panels or this back panel. For these panels, typically this piece gets left on here, so I always just pull it off, reattach it, and then just re-stick the panel back on. That seems to be the best way to do it. For this back panel, it's pretty straightforward. You can just angle this slightly if you want to, and then you just kind of slide it in there and then connect it to that little brick. So that you have a size comparison, this is the size of the AT-DP compared to a standard minifigure. And this is the official AT-ST Lego set. Technically, the AT-DP should be about 4 to 6 studs taller than the AT-ST for in-universe accuracy. And I slightly failed at that because making it any taller made it too off balance. However, I still think it looks great and that it still towers over the minifigure. Alright, well I hope you liked today's alt build. I will link the free instructions down below in the description. And have a great day. Thanks for watching.